I keep my travel tech pretty dialed in at this point. These are the things that I constantly use at home, so they come with me on the road too. Stick around because later in the video, I'm gonna share the one thing that I panic bought while waiting in line at the airport, and it became an instant must pack for every trip since then. So let me show you what's in the kit and links to everything in the description box below if you wanted to learn more. Okay, so let's start with the tech pouch first. This is the Power Packer from Side by Side, and it holds most of my smaller tech accessories. The slim shape makes it easy to slide into any backpack or suitcase. Inside, you've got elastic straps for cables of any size or length, a few sections for things like small hard drives or power blocks, a mesh zip pocket for really tiny things, and even a spot down the center that's perfect for an Apple Pencil. There's also a separate zip compartment where I usually stash the really bulky items. The whole thing is made from a sturdy but stretchy material, so you can really stuff this thing if you wanted to. Plus, it keeps everything neat and in one place, so I'm not digging around for random cables that I might need. Sometimes I take this small leather pouch with me. It's from Club Monaco and I've had it forever. It's tough but pretty soft, and the different color leathers on each of the panels is subtle, but I think is a really cool detail. And it's just a simple catch-all for a really light setup. No compartments, nothing fancy. And so if I'm carrying only a few items, this is the one I like to bring. My Anker 100-watt charging block. This is my go-to power block. It replaced the big brick that came with my 16-inch MacBook Pro. It's way smaller and much easier to carry around. You've got two USB-C ports, one that fast charges the MacBook Pro, and a USB-A slot just in case you need to charge some older tech. This is super handy when I'm traveling and I want one compact charger for multiple devices. I always bring a small USB hub. Mine is from a brand called Aukey, but they've since disappeared from Amazon, so I usually recommend a similar and newer one from Anker. I don't use this every day, but my MacBook Pro only has USB-C slots plus an SD card reader and an HDMI, no USB-As. So this covers me in case I have a peripheral that I need to hook up that uses USB-A. This tiny speaker from Bose has been in my travel bag for years. The battery life is great, the bass is really solid and deep, and the highs are nice and crisp. For something this small, the sound is awesome. These days when we travel, it's mostly next to my daughter's crib where it plays like soft lullabies while she's sleeping. And surprisingly, the next morning, it still has a bunch of charge left. I like slipping this thing into my bag for any trip I take because it's tough, it's tiny, and it works really well. By the way, if we haven't met before, I'm Baron. I make videos mostly about men's style, but also about travel, EDC, and packing. So if that sounds cool, hey, you're in the right place. If you're enjoying this video so far, would you mind tapping that like button? It's right down there. It really helps the channel and it lets this video reach other people just like you who also might enjoy it. Win-win. Thanks so much. Next up is my SanDisk 4TB SSD. This is my main working drive when I'm editing on the go. It's lightweight, fast, and has more than enough space for my everyday working files. This thing is super easy to pack, it's really durable, so you don't have to baby it, and it just makes sense to always keep an extra hard drive with you. I keep an AirTag in every checked bag. This year we had a canceled flight, and we spent hours at the airport trying to figure out where our bags were. It was an hours-long saga that ended way past midnight. Even the folks working at the lost baggage desk could not figure out where our bags were. Turns out our luggage made it on another flight home, one that was too full for us to get on, but apparently not too full for our luggage. Go figure. If I had AirTags back then, I would have known instantly and I wouldn't have spent hours at the airport when I didn't have to. I literally bought these AirTags waiting in the lost baggage line, and ever since that night, I do not travel without them. I just put one in each checked bag and I'm done. This iPad is basically the family tablet now, apparently, but when I do get to use it, it's great for light work, reading, drawing, or even watching something on a flight. If I'm packing super light for a trip, I will just pair this with the Logitech keyboard that snaps into the slim case that I already keep the iPad Pro in, and then it turns into a decent laptop replacement. But for 99% of trips, I still take my MacBook Pro with me because, like I said, this iPad is usually being used by somebody else. Speaking of iPads, the Apple Pencil makes the iPad way more fun and easy to use. I use it for drawing in Procreate, note-taking, or just as a precise pointer when I'm editing something. It snaps right onto the iPad to charge, and when it's not there, I keep it in the little center slot that's built into the Power Packer travel case. I always travel with a Kindle. It's lighter than bringing a bunch of books, it's super easy on the eyes, and I use my New York Public Library card to borrow books through the Libby app, which then goes to my Kindle. So I can read library books on the Kindle. Brilliant. These days, because we're checking so much luggage and taking so much stuff with us, because kids, that saving weight and space wherever I can really matters. Books are obviously really heavy, so a Kindle is a perfect solution for that. This is an older model from 2020. I'm sure it's improved by now, but this one's still kicking. By the way, this reminds me, check out my recent video about what I pack in my work bag whenever I'm going to a coffee shop or a co-working space. I think you'll like that one too. The Logitech MX Master 3. I love using this mouse at home, so I always take it with me when I travel. The MacBook trackpad is great and it's really big, but I think for juggling multiple apps and editing and things like that, it's always helpful to have an external mouse. This one is super ergonomic and I love the free spin scroll wheel. It's always worked really well for me. Plus, there are a bunch of different buttons on this thing and they're all programmable and super useful to have. It is a little bulky, but totally worth bringing if I'm away from home and I know I need to do some work. Yes, I'm still on the iPhone 15 Pro Max, which at this point is about 2-ish years old. But as I mentioned in my recent work bag EDC video, it still works perfectly and does everything I need. So I haven't really felt the need to upgrade. I love the big screen, it has a great camera, and it's still pretty snappy. The only thing I changed since the last video is the case. I switched to this one from ESR. It has a built-in kickstand that doubles as an extra safeguard bump for the camera, which I actually like better than my old one. It's super minimal, functional, and best of all, MagSafe ready. I've had the AirPods 4 for a few weeks now, and I have to say I like them way better than my AirPods 3, which I already loved. These have noise cancellation, adaptive audio, and you could turn all that off too if you just wanted to have normal mode and hear everything that's going on around you. The form factor is much smaller now too compared to the AirPods 3. And for funsies, I keep mine in this little case that looks like a pager. Total 90s throwback because I had one of those when I was a teenager, but it makes me happy. And maybe best of all, I get USB-C charging with the AirPods 4, which means I can finally let go of the lightning cable, thank God. Now all of my Apple devices use USB-C for charging. Really quick, if you're into practical packing breakdowns just like this one, consider subscribing. I do videos on men's style, travel, EDC, and packing, so if you're still watching, this is probably your thing. So, stick around, hang out a while. Quick detour for my fellow creators who are watching. I always bring a small kit of filming gear when I travel. I won't go super deep into this here, but if you shoot content too, then you might find some of this useful. And if you want a full video on my creator setup, let me know in the comments and maybe I'll put one together. One thing I always pack is this mini tripod. It's a carabiner clip so I can hook it onto a bag really easily or throw it into my power packer. And then when I'm using it, it folds out into a sturdy little table tripod. It also has a full metal build, so it feels solid. You can tilt it up or down and it has MagSafe, so your phone just slaps right on. It's perfect for video calls or if you need to film a quick talking head setup. I also bring the TT88 from Ulanzi. This one's a full-size phone tripod that I believe extends to over 6 feet, but it folds down to smaller than my forearm and it fits inside a backpack or suitcase. It has MagSafe. There's also a built-in phone clip in case you don't have MagSafe. You can go either portrait or landscape mode when shooting, and one of the legs extends out and has a hook at the end so you can get a nice overhead shot. The only downside is that it's mostly made from plastic, so the build does feel a little bit cheap, and when the tripod is fully extended, it can be a little bit wobbly, but it is so small and thin that there are going to be compromises that you'll have to make here. So it's not the most premium build, but for travel and overhead shots, I think it does its job really well. Now for good quality audio in a small package, I like this wireless mic setup from Hollyland. The kit comes with 2 tiny lapel mics and 2 receivers, one that fits via USB-C on my iPhone, and the other one that plugs into my DSLR. It's super compact, easy to travel with, and it charges everything in the case, which is nice. And personally, I think the sound quality is really solid straight out of the camera. I do very minimal tweaking in post. Finally, let's talk about the unglamorous stuff that keeps all this running and charged. Cables. First, a really good USB-C cable. This charges almost everything I bring, so I typically have 1, if not 2 USB-C cables with me. If anything's gonna fail on a trip, it's gonna be a cable, so I think having a backup is clutch. I typically also bring my dedicated MacBook Pro cable whenever I'm traveling. I don't always need it since the laptop also charges using USB-C, but it's nice to have one cable that's dedicated just to the laptop so it frees up the other USB-Cs if someone else in the family needs it. A micro USB cable. Yes, I still pack one of these even in 2025. A few things in our setup still use this, like the Bose speaker and one of the little sound machines that my daughter uses. It's annoying to carry, but we do use it. And when I do forget it, I always end up needing it. so it usually stays in my power packer so I don't forget. I keep an aux cable in the kit too. Some rental cars and our older family cars don't have a good Bluetooth setup, so I like to plug this in directly to my phone using a USB-C adapter, and then I can play Spotify or control the audio from my phone. And finally, this, what I call a little man charger. It's a single cable with 4 different ends, a USB-C, USB-A, micro USB, and lightning. I plug the charger end into the Anker power block, and then I can charge pretty much anything else that I brought. It is short, but it's tiny and super convenient, and mostly just used as a backup in case I happen to forget one of the cables that I should have packed. If you enjoyed this video, you're gonna wanna watch this one next, where I talk about everything that I bring with me when I spend a day working at the coffee shop or a co-working space.